No, the European Commission, my team, we work with Greece now that it has come out of the program. We used to work with it under the program, but now we work with it under a framework that's called enhanced surveillance, which implies a pretty close dialogue and engagement with the Greek authorities with a view to making sure that the reform processes continue and are delivered as agreed with European partners and more generally, to the benefit of the Greek economy. But Greece has certainly come a long way over the last years. The government now that has come into office in July has made a strong start. It has laid out a comprehensive growth narrative for the future and has started with the first implementation steps. But of course the government is in place for 5 months, so we have seen an initial start. And that is also where we stand, because what happens now is we need to move to a phase where reform implementation is sustained, where the government shows that it's going for the long run. I think investment partners and markets have received the initial signals from the government very well, and that has also created big expectations. And now it's really the next stage for the government to deliver on those expectations. Who knows, maybe exceed them. And that's why I think also the conference here comes at a very appropriate time to assess where we stand and what are the key challenges going forward. First, it's important to bear in mind that Greece, which was under a financial assistance program or free financial assistance programs for 8 years, has now come out of the programs. So it is in the driving seat of its own policies. Again, it makes its choices, obviously within the context of the European legal and policy framework, but it has much more policy autonomy. And in this respect, that's one element. The other element is, of course, that Greece has made some commitments to its European partners to complete and deliver on a number of flagship reforms that were launched under the programs, from tax administration to the cadastre to public administration, and of course, on the fiscal side, a budget in line with the agreed fiscal targets for the next couple of years. And within this framework, the government has had a very positive approach vis-à-vis the Commission and the other, what we call the institutions. So that's the European Central Bank, European Stability Mechanism, and where they play a role also the IMF. The Greek government has played a very constructive role vis-à-vis us, has always tried to seek our advice. From time to time they disagree, which is normal. But overall, I think that's a signal that is not only, we think, good for the Greek government and good for us, but it also provides reassurance to markets and investors that Greece is working very much in tandem with its European partners, including the institutions. I mean, Greece had been going through an exceptionally difficult time over the last 8 years. It had to redress imbalances in the economy that were unsustainable on the fiscal side, on the external side. It has, by and large, wound down these imbalances, so the adjustment has been successful. It has come at a high cost, at an unnecessarily high cost, we find, because policies were not always implemented in a very determined and sustained way, so it had a lot of internal turbulences as well. But at this stage, Greece has successfully eliminated these imbalances in flow terms. However, it still has a legacy of stock imbalances, if you want to call it that, a high public debt, a very negative international investment position, high number of non-performing loans, still high unemployment. So that is something that needs to be worked out over the years with a combination of growth and supportive policies. In terms of policies, Greece has come a long way from where it started in terms of modernizing its economy, modernizing its state, but clearly it's not mission accomplished. This is very much work in progress, and this is, I think, what partners are looking to the new Greek government as well to fully bring to fruition over the next couple of years. I think the Capital Link Forum has been a fixture on the calendar for Greece's engagement with the investor community, both the US investor community, but probably also more internationally, for years. And that, I think, has been also one of its key advantages, that it kept up the interest in Greece, whether times were good or not so good. This year, I think we clearly see a new dynamic. We see a new interest in opportunities in Greece. I see that also in my daily work when we are approached by investors, because Greece is seeing something where things are happening. And so it's no coincidence, I think, that I understand the attendance is also particularly strong this year, because on the one hand, Greece as an investment choice has traditionally been a risky one. On the other hand, there's an interest not to miss the boat if the opportunities really open up. And I think that's why it's a very well timed. I think the Greek government and all the partners from Greece will be able to showcase what's happening. The investor community will be able to familiarize itself more also with the opportunities and the challenges to just get a better view. Greece as a small market has to do these things proactively, because it is not a must-have in investor portfolios. So Greece has to go the extra mile. And I think the Capital Link event is an excellent opportunity in that respect.